Now, since this has been in the news a little bit this week, let me say a little something about health care. I had no illusions when I took this on that this was going to be hard. 7 presidents had tried it. 7 Congresses had tried it. And all of them had failed. And I had a whole bunch of political advisors telling me, this may not be the smartest thing to do. You've got a lot on your plate. Biggest economic crisis since the Great Depression, 2 wars. You know, you may not get a lot of cooperation. You're going to have a lot of pushback from the insurance companies and the drug companies. It's complicated. Don't do it. Now, let me tell you why I did it. I knew that insurance premiums had more than doubled in the past decade. I knew that out-of-pocket expenses had skyrocketed. I knew that millions more people had lost their insurance, and I knew that because of the economic crisis, that was only going to get worse. When you lose 7 million jobs, like we lost over the last 2 years, what do you think happens to those folks' health insurance? What happens when their COBRA runs out? I took this up because I wanted to ease the burdens on all the families and small businesses that can't afford to pay outrageous rates, and I wanted to protect mothers and fathers and children by being targeted by some of the worst practices of the insurance industry that I had heard time and time again as I traveled through this country. Now, let me dispel this notion that somehow we were focused on that and so as a consequence not focused on the economy. First of all I think about is how we're going to create jobs in this area. All I think about is how do we get banks lending again. I've been doing that the entire year. So have folks like Sherrod and Marcy and Betty. But what I also know is that healthcare is part of the drag on our economy. It's part of the eroding security that middle-class families feel. So here's the good news. We've gotten pretty far down the road. But I've got to admit, we had a little bit of a buzzsaw this week. Now, I also know that part of the reason is that this process was so long and so drawn out. This is just what happens in Congress. I mean, it's just an ugly process. You're running headlong into special interests and armies of lobbyists and partisan politics that's aimed at exploiting fears instead of getting things done. And then you've got ads that are scaring the bejesus out of everybody. And the longer it takes, the uglier it looks. So I understand why people would say, boy, I'm not so sure about this, even though they know that what they got isn't working. And I understand that why after the Massachusetts election, people in Washington were all in a tizzy, trying to figure out what this means for health reform, Republicans and Democrats. What does it mean for Obama? You know, is he weakened? How's he going to survive this? That's what they do. But I want you to understand, this is not about me. This is not about me. This is about you. This is not about me, this is about you.